Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the podcast formerly known as the Build Different podcast. We've got something special in store as it's spring, which has sprung. We've got a new name for you guys. I guess we've sort of been in the works for a while now. Tristan, why do you think we've been looking at new names? Tell the people.
It was a mix-up. So there was not a mix-up. It was a bit of a toss-up between there were a lot of other current running podcasts that were named the Built Different podcast. Some that were actually about building, believe it or not, which was
what they do that for.
No one would ever have expected that. And we just felt that it didn't really describe us.
Yeah. I mean,
we are built different, but it didn't describe our podcast.
I'm sure everyone knows that.
So yeah, we kind of went back to the board, decided to change it, and yeah, Jay, you want to tell the people what it's called?
Much deliberation and a slight almost hiccup that happened just as this podcast was about to start. We've come to the conclusion that we're going to name the podcast "Everything in Between," minus the but just everything in between.
Yeah. Look out for everything in between on Instagram.
Yeah. Again, why do you think that's a good name for us? Please tell the people.
I actually thought it was a really cool, because someone said it in our last podcast. If someone wants to go back and find out who said it, I can't remember.
I can't remember either. So
I remember hearing it and going, that really fits us, because a lot of people ask us, what's your podcast about? And if I say, it's about us being built different, they go, well, what the hell does that mean? But now I feel like it flows and it kind of works more for us, considering we've got a randomly different topic every week. It's about everything in between. It's about, from gaming to sports and everything in between.
Yeah, I think what resonated with me with the title was that we spoke about things that not often gets spoken about in terms of our own point of view and giving that our own take with it. So you don't really get that anywhere else except here. So I think that's why I sort of like the new name as well.
It's going to be good. And now that we're rolling forward with our social media as well, so look out for those follows. Everything's going to be going into motion now, so this is going to be good fun.
That's what's happening, man. Maybe we'll make it public and show out people that aren't friends.
That's it. That's it. So if an Instagram profile named Everything in Between slides into your DMs, it's Ryan. Ryan's the one controlling it. It's definitely not me. Please reply.
Is it more likely to reply if they know it's
I don't even remember how to use Instagram, man.
I'm gonna get a lot of selfies of Ryan, and I'm gonna just start sending it to everybody.
Oh yeah, Ryan doesn't have a personal Instagram account, so maybe we should make him in charge of the social one.
Oh no!
I mean, if he wants to be.
No, I won't take that.
Why is everything in between posting at Strava?
The whole podcast just went for a run, man.
But yeah. No, I'm excited for it. I'm excited that we're going to start moving forward. And yeah, I feel like the name really flows. Even though Built Different was a great name, and it did describe all of us. It was yeah,
it was a bit of a meme, to be fair. Like that's how we started, which is funny. Yeah, but I think this gives us a bit more. Gives us more. What's the word I'm looking for here? Not credit, validation. No, none of those.
Substance.
Yeah. You just seem more legit, huh?
Yeah, we seem like we're actually...
we're a real podcast now, guys, all right?
Yeah, okay. Watch out, Joe Rogan. I'm the new Toe Rogan.
I cannot get over your video quality, Tristan. What the hell, man?
Oh, everyone's video quality's dropped for me as well.
Nah, but yours just looks...
Yours is still good, actually.
Like, it looks like I've never... It's crazy. It's blowing my mind.
Same here for you guys. Your video, I think it drops automatically.
Yeah.
Save the bandwidth, you know?
Yeah. Save the bandwidth, save the trees. Save the cheerleader.
Yeah, that's all right. But everyone watching this will just be confused because it's being like perfect quality. So
yeah, everyone's gonna be like, "What are they talking about?" But no, I understand why you guys were calling me Minecraft Steve before. I can understand it now. Will and Ryan look the same.
This is great. We can now see all your imperfections.
Minecraft Steve. But it's all investment, isn't it, mate? It's all for moving forward, all for the podcast, mate. This guy's putting more into it just to get more out of it. It's amazing.
That's it.
But again, it's all going to change once we're in person anyway. So I guess it's not to say it wasn't for nothing, but
it was all for nothing. I've wasted so much money on this setup.
No.
I'm considering streaming. Actually, if I'm being honest,
Do it.
I'm considering it. It's just that like I feel like I wouldn't be able to keep up with like a constant once a week or twice a week stream.
Right, do it like once a year. It's fine.
True.
Just have fun.
Consistent, mate.
Will does it twice a year and still somehow manage to get a sub.
Every second. Yeah, it's hard. I don't know how people do it like consistently because they have nothing else. Like I feel like it becomes their job, mate. Like doing it every day. Like it's
I
pretty.
don't know. Yeah, I feel so tired doing it because like when I want to stream, I feel like I want to be at my like highest amount of energy just because I'm not only both playing a game but also interacting with everyone that's hopping in.
Yeah,
and so most of the time I don't feel like I'll have enough energy to do both and just properly interact with people who drop by and say hi and all that. Otherwise, I just most of the time I just want to chill when I play games, have fun.
Speaking of, we should get a streamer on as a guest, someone who does full time streaming.
Oh,
that would be. I would love to pick their brain.
I know someone.
Do you?
Yeah.
All right, look at that.
God, you can do, of course, he knows someone. He's a streamer.
Will is a streamer.
Streamer twice a year.
Oh no, but it's definitely a skill though. Like it's be able to like turn on camera and then be as into the game as well as be able to interact with the audience as well.
Yeah.
Like even us, we're like still trying to practice getting better with interacting with you guys, even though it's not live or anything. Like being able to say, hey guys, just chuck a comment down. What do you think?
Yeah.
It's all part of the learning process. But Will's pretty good at it, considering that I've seen his play.
Really? But you know what helps as well? Will's actually good at games. I wouldn't be able to do it because I'm rubbish at games.
There's a market for that, man. There's a market
Is it?
for that, yeah.
Are they those hot tub streamers? Is that the market for people who aren't good at games?
Yeah.
Upstream is
It's like why people can't look away from like a car crash. It's like it's so horrible, but you need to keep looking. It's like,
I'm playing Crash Bandicoot.
Like me playing Crash Bandicoot. I'm shockers at Crash Bandicoot, but people love it.
Best stream I've ever watched.
Honest to God, it wasn't even a stream. It was like a little Discord party.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
So
that was like the most fun time I watched like anyone play a game. One.
I'm very good at Crash Bandicoot, so.
Those levels were hard, mind you. That bridge level is notorious for being hard.
Yeah, and I was using a controller, so
the losers.
Yeah, maybe that's why.
But yeah, no, it was good. It was good. Maybe we should definitely do a gaming stream with all of us at some stage.
Yeah, that'd be
some
sweet.
of us can like actually play, and the rest of us can maybe talk to the audience. That way, we don't have to split our attention.
I feel like a live podcast.
Yeah, like a 24-hour live stream for charity.
Let's do it. 24 hours.
Yeah.
Hey guys, we've raised $1.50. Thanks, Mum.
Cheers. Like,
by charity, we mean we're all getting new webcams and.
It's like GoFundMe alternative. Yeah. We're just like low on funds, and we're just podcasting ain't working out for us, and we're down in the dumps.
God, we come up with some really bad ideas.
Don't worry, there's plenty more to come.
But yeah, we're going to do vlogs of us when we go to the gym.
Bro, that's a brilliant idea, honestly. I don't think anything you say is a bad idea. It's honestly probably an amazing idea. We'll just execute it very horribly, and then that's when it becomes a bad idea.
Yeah, true. Come for breakfast with the everything in between podcast boys.
We'll just end up living in between the house.
Yeah, I know.
We'll just move into the ranch house, and we're
already here, bro. Get on in. There's.
Don't you already have the security cameras set in all the bedrooms, just facing to?
Oh God. Can't tell everyone about that. Everyone always asks me why my security cameras are on the inside.
Yeah, that's weird. I forgot that you had them secretly installed. I didn't.
Yeah.
Sorry.
They're all in those teddy bears that are in Ryan's room. They've got like their belly button. It looks like a button, but it's a camera.
Sorry for everyone listening that goes to Ryan's house. Now you know. It's hard to miss.
But Ryan's also big brother. Jeanu, please come to the diary room.
Yeah, and then he's got a little broom closet where the diary entries.
This is Big Hostovich. Please come to the diary room.
Is that? I feel like it's still going, isn't it, Big Brother? Christ, there's not many shows that have deteriorated in quality. Not that Big Brother was ever really that good, but crikey.
Wasn't it always like a half-assed Stanford prison experiment. Like, it just seems like such a bad idea.
It is a really terrible idea. But back when there was less restrictions and like not COVID restrictions, but you could get away with more shit on telly, people would get up to some pretty crazy shit in Big Brother house. But now it's just all too tame. You got to be super selective with what you put on telly.
Big Brother After Dark.
Big Brother After Dark. No, was it? I remember maybe before that was Big Brother Up Late. If you remember that?
I think that was
there was After Dark, but I think that was one of the later seasons they changed it. And you just have like they just be going at it in the Big Brother house. You had remember Hot Dog and Camilla? He got kicked out of the Big Brother house. It was the turkey slapping. It was the Hot Dog and the turkey slapping incident. It was a like you could not do that now. You could not film that now. That could not happen.
Film it, yeah. You're right.
No way.
Crazy.
But yeah, I always watched Friday Night. Was it Friday Night?
Oh,
yeah.
That had Fitzy on it. And,
that was so good.
And the blonde bloke kind of
Mike Goldstein.
That's it.
I remember Mike Goldstein because there used to be a UFC presenter named Mike Goldstein, and for some dumb reason I thought it was the same person, even though one was American and one was an Aussie.
Yeah, Friday Night Live was good fun. I used to love watching Friday Night Live.
That was heaps of fun.
Yeah, that was the only thing I watched in terms of Big Brother.
Yeah, and I would occasionally watch bits here and there, but I always tuned in for Friday Night Live. And
remember our childhood, man, nostalgia.
That's it.
You know what's similar to Friday Night Live? Every game show in Japan. Like, if you guys have seen some of those game shows, I would love to have like a TV channel that's just Japanese game shows, like what was Takashi's Castle, MXC. If you guys remember that.
Games. No laughing. Batsu games.
What
Favorite one ever. There's this one called No Laughing. It's like the Batsu games where they'll go through like an entire 24 hours where it's like fully set up, right?
Yeah.
Like for one of the episodes, it'll be like a school. And all of them have to dress up in school uniform, and they go through 24 hours of like no laughing, where the entire place is set up. And yeah, it's just set up just like with random shit that will make you laugh. And if you laugh, then you get like just smacked with a kendo stick. It's freaking hilarious.
Reminds me of the other one, that Silent Library one.
Silent Library on TV.
Yeah, that one was on TV.
That was all good.
I thought we should be on one of those shows. I'm like, yeah, we should set it up.
100%.
That no laughing one is just...
There's one where you had to pose. There was like a wall that used to come closer, and it had like a cutout in it, and you had to make that shape to go through it. That was funny. What was the other one? Oh, in Japan. When I was in Japan, I mean, I saw this TV show, and it basically, we somehow managed to loosely translate it to, "Is that chocolate?" And it was literally just like a huge set of like different stuff, and they'd pick it up, and then the whole crowd would be like, "Whoa!" And then the contestant, it was like, let's say a shoe, for instance,
take a bite out of it,
and they'd bite it, and like nothing would come off, and then there'd be like a table, and they'd go up to the corner, and everyone would be like, "Oh!" And then they'd chip it off, and it made a chocolate, and everyone's like, "Yeah!" What are we watching? It was so entertaining.
I've seen some really weird Japanese game shows, man. Like,
but they love it, man. They get around it.
Yeah.
I mean, I would too if it was Australian TV.
Yeah.
But I feel like they'd find some way to butcher it. Like
100%. Like, we just can't. Yeah. Speaking of butchering TV shows, sorry, before we get into the topic, Gia, did you know there was an American Kath and Kim that got remade?
No.
It lasted for like 5 episodes. My cousin was telling me about it the other day with Molly Shannon. It was literally word for word Kath and Kim, but American, and it just did not work at all.
Kath and Kim is like fundamentally Australian.
That's the entire premise of the show. Is it's like peak Aussie. It's like I don't see how you could relate to that if you're not Australian.
But they still tried it. It was really bad.
Did you see it today? They got the Save Australia rallies in America.
What?
Yeah, they've got protests going on in New York City about saving Australia because we're like under a authoritarian.
Thank you.
Authoritarian state. Yeah, and they're full saying like "Save Australia, save Australia."
Yeah, I don't know if like a country on the brink of like civil war without a public healthcare system is really the.
I think
it's
we're
really
right.
in a position
I
to
think
be
we're right. Thanks, mate.
What's going on down under? But
Save Australia while I prey on my tips as a hospitality worker to make money.
Yeah.
Oh god, tips! I hate that. I read about that the other day. Where like having to like paid them tips because they're not getting
Was
paid
like
enough.
minimum wage like $8 or something?
Yeah, it's not a livable
Jesus.
minimum wage.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
Speaking of tips, anything happening next week for you guys?
Tips, yeah. betting
Just
tips.
the tip, or like
No tips, like just tips. Anything like, what other kind of tips are there?
Betting tips.
Betting tips,
We're punting
long
up now,
hair
right?
tips?
hair tips,
Yeah,
tip.
hair tips.
Anyone decided to get tips in their hair?
Oh,
No.
No?
Wouldn't be
Okay.
me, wouldn't be. Nah, I'm
Well,
bleaching.
that's
I know
fine.
why Tristan's brought that up. I'm bleaching my hair blonde because I just want to ruin my social life completely.
You're doing that on your own, mate.
Yeah, socially isolate myself. So as of tomorrow, I'm going to give it a crack. Bleach the hair blonde, just the tips. See how we go.
Wait. Last time you dyed it to like brown or something, right?
Well, last time it turned out orange. It was a dumpster fire. It was a learning curve. I did a lot of research, but clearly not enough. The problem with bleaching my hair last time was it was effectively melting my scalp off. It was burning. It was incredibly painful. So I wasn't able to let the developer or the bleach sit on my hair for long enough, so it didn't go to the correct blonde. So it just turned out like a sort of burgundy orange.
You didn't strip all the color away.
Yeah, exactly. So it was kind of just salvaging that, and I did get it a little bit lighter, but not even close to the blonde I want. So that's why I'm using a like a cap and just doing the actual tip. So I'm not going to burn the scalp, and
You're gonna pull the head through.
Exactly. Yeah. So I've got the thing arrived the other day. So
I'm just gonna tell you now. It still burns. Coming from experience, it does still burn.
Make sure you read the box because I did the same thing.
And now look at you.
Yeah. It's the same joke. It's the same joke every time.
I guess you'll see just how badly I can mess my shit up next week.
I thought the box said blonde, but it actually said invisible. So now it's my hair. It's just gone.
Yeah.
So,
Hey, mate, run your fingers through your hair, bro.
It said blonde, but it said bald.
Yeah. I knew that was coming straight away.
100%. We start talking about hair. I've got to make a self-deprecating joke about the fact that I have none.
You know what?
rinse
It's still funny.
yourself
So you know
before
what?
we
I'll allow it. As long as it's still funny, I'll allow it.
Everyone's
Oh, God. Yeah, so we'll see.
Everyone laughs. Half of the people laugh because they think it's funny. The other half laugh because they feel sorry for me.
it's like a pity laugh.
Fuck.
Just gotta lead into it, I guess. It's too funny. All right.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, we'll see Ryan 2.0 next week.
I reckon it's going to look fantastic, but we'll see.
I don't know. I wouldn't set your hopes that high after last time, but it is what it is. So we'll see how it turns out. Just a bit of lockdown fun. Got to spice things up, keep things interesting.
Interesting. I mean, you waited like the entire lockdown before doing it, but
Well, in my defence, I did order the cap about a month ago, but Australia posters went completely up shitter. So
Yeah, that's right.
yeah,
it
I
is
was
true.
expecting to get it like the next day. I'm so spoilt with like your Amazon and shit like that. Where
Or
I
your
suppose we're
small
all
little-
a little bit like that now, where we order something and expect it within a couple of days, and
Yeah.
having to wait a month is like, what are we in 2008 now? Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I get for buying through eBay, if I'm being honest. So
Oh, you bought it on
I
eBay?
bought it on eBay.
You know how many people are going to tune in next week now? I swear to God. It's
Not the developer, the cap. I already had all the bleach and the box dye.
my apologies.
Yeah.
My apologies.
No, I'm all over it, mate.
all right, it's gonna be funny. And then next week, everyone's gonna look at the video and then go back to this video to see what it looked like before.
Yeah. Well, look, I can't end up looking any worse. So it's only up from here.
There's that.
Please. The Adonis speaks out.
Oh man.
It's fishing
The
for compliments,
himself.
guys.
I know.
Don't feed his ego. Don't say anything in the comments about him looking good. All right.
Yeah, you won't get any compliment from us from you unbelievably sexy, muscular man.
Oh no.
All right, and I guess that's a good segue into our topic for this evening. I guess what is the topic? Okay, the way I thought about it in my head was we're just gonna basically not kind of like a timeline, but just sort of like approach to, I guess, meeting someone, meeting them for the first time, talking to them, going on dates. I guess our sort of approach or mindset towards that, and then just how it goes, basically, like our thought process behind talking to someone and seeing how that relationship grows. It's going to be interesting. Like, I didn't want it to be too serious, and honestly, by the way this podcast has been going so far, it's not going to be, which is good.
Yeah.
So, all right, so I got a list here, and I know there's a lot of there should be a lot of stories that may come about from this podcast, which I'm very much hoping for. Obviously, we're not going to name any names or anything like that because confidentiality and such.
Because we only got a couple of hours, so
Yeah, we don't want to get any slander or get sued for anything. It's still early. So, I guess the first thing is meeting a girl for the first time and talking to them. So first off, there's a few different options there. We've got the dating apps, which would be the most likely at the moment because of lockdown and such. However, of course, there was always meeting people out and about, at work, at bars, however and such. What's your experience with we'll go with the latter, with meeting girls like out in the real world?
In the real world.
In the real world. Not this fake podcast. Okay. Here's like, did you have much success meeting people that way?
Yes and no. I'm going to go out there and say yes and no. Bars, to me, not that I went to too many, so I don't really have many experiences to say from. I feel like that's more of a myth in a sense because I feel like girls just don't want to be approached there.
What do you think? Where? Okay. If they don't want to be approached at bars, where? Because they say that about every single place. So where?
You know what? And this is what I'm thinking. I'm thinking I shouldn't say every girl, but I'm thinking people get too into their rom-coms and they want to be swept off their feet at that that guy that met at the job interview or that kind of, that 500 days of summer kind of stuff where they met him in the elevator or you know what I mean? Something like that.
And then that's what they want. That's what you say. Not girls, like some girls may think about. Is that what you say?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. I feel like that's, whereas if you walk up to a bar, it's kind of like, because I know I've thought about it. Imagine finding, and obviously this is us evolving into the new age and stuff like that. But imagine going, hey, where did you guys meet? Oh, Tinder. Yeah. I knew nothing about her. She did nothing about me. And yeah.
She was free one night, I was free one night. You know how it is.
You know how it is. I paid for Tinder Gold and I just kept swiping until someone swiped back. I'm lonely.
Tinder Gold. Tinder Gold, best investment of my life.
You know what I mean?
Hey, guys, come on.
I feel like that's what I feel like we're kind of leaning towards these days is women are expecting men and so they should like have that kind of romantic twist to it. Like, I mean, don't walk up to a woman and be like, hey, baby, can I buy you a drink? Like, to me, that's, I don't know. Whereas if you walk up to someone and you hit them with a funny pickup line maybe or you kind of...
Bro, honestly, like, even just going up to someone and just being like, hey, hi, my name is Jeanu. Like, can I buy a drink? Honestly, that's hard.
It's difficult for us.
Even that's
very
hard. Like,
difficult.
being able to just... But then people are talking about, you need to be different. You need to be unique. You need to say all this other stuff to get their attention or whatever. But, like, I can't even do the bare minimum. So I'm like... I can't even
like, who do you think we are, Ryan Dawes? Like, we can't be different like that. It's just unbelievable. But it's just... And you're expected, you have like, especially when you meet like a girl at a bar or something, you have this small window to kind of get them to say something back or to kind of impress them. So it's like, is it a pickup line? Is it is it this? Is it that? Whereas if you kind of go, I went to this candle shop 16 times in 1 week. I don't even like candles, but now my house is full of them. But hey, I got her number. And then on her side, she was like, he could have just asked me after the first candle, but he came in and bought like 16 candles.
Yeah, good movie.
Like something like that. 16 candles.
Or on the other side, she could have just been like, this guy just kept coming in every single day and asking me about candles and buying different candles. It creeped me out.
Yeah, or something like that. Like it
just depends on the approach and the interest, I guess.
It depends on, and it's always going to be luck of the draw, but I feel like that kind of thing is going to fall a little bit better because of this kind of expectation of every man should be Matthew McConaughey.
Oh, yeah. Well, every dude wants to be Matthew McConaughey.
100%.
But there's also the thing about like going at it, right? Say doing something you think in your head is like romantic or cute, like rom-com style, but then it comes across as weird and creepy.
Yep.
Just because of how they perceive you, and then all of a sudden it's like you're on a list.
Yeah. Throwing rocks at her window, not romantic. Yeah, believe it or not.
The stranger's house, 3 a.m. in the morning.
Yep.
Creepy, not creepy.
Yeah.
Yeah, saying that
hang on, guys. My prison phone call's over. I've got to.
Yeah,
real funny, mate.
I think that I would still rather prefer to meet someone like that, though. That I'd rather go out and try to be like have that little what's it called? What do they call it? Meet cutes in the movies? Meet cutes? Cute meets?
Yeah.
Yeah, meet cutes. Yeah. So that's what they call it in movies when they have like when two characters meet like in a cute way. That's what it's called, meet cute. But yeah, to have that sort of like story to be like, oh, how'd you guys meet? And then be like, oh, we got stuck in the elevator one time, and I was stuck with him for 2 hours, and then we hit it off.
She works on the 7th floor, I work on the 5th, and we used to get the elevator at the same time, or I saw her at the coffee shop before we went to the same place at work, or
which of course would sound great, but at the same time, like it doesn't always happen that way. But
no.
I don't think it should stop people from trying to get that.
Well, I mean, Ryan and Will, what's your opinion on this?
I mean, I already find it hard enough to approach people as is.
Yeah.
You know, like just mentioning it before, but I feel like most of the people I meet in general, and more so nowadays, like excluding the pandemic, is just like through mutuals. Like when we go out to dinner or when we have parties.
Yeah, that's probably the easiest way, honestly.
Yeah. And then like you can kind of already have a little introduction. Be like, hey, this is Jeanu, this is, Lisa. I don't know.
I think the most important, well, not most important, the main part of that is just because since they have a mutual friend, they know that you're not creep or weirdo.
Yeah, that's like the easiest kind of setting. Yeah. And like, you're at a party, you can have drinks together, you just talk. And because you're mutuals with, the birthday person, you can already kind of know that, they get along with the person you get along with as well. So
yeah,
everything just kind of falls into place around parties and just all of that.
That's pretty spot on.
But yeah, like at bars and at clubs and stuff, most of the time, I just don't even approach people. I just try to have a good time with my friends. So,
and how do you approach a girl at a night? Like, do you dance up to her, or is that? Just,
I honestly
you know what I mean? And then before you know it, you're doing some kind of weird
you do
kind of dance move towards it.
But like, this is gonna be, I guess my thought process in it. All right, so you're at a bar or a club, you're dancing, you're with your friends. You're drinking, you feel good, and then like you see someone corner of your eye, and they're maybe eyeing you, or your friend comes up to you, they're like, "Hey, she's looking at you, bro." She's like, oh, and then you're like, "Oh yeah," and then that's when you start like, like getting closer and dancing, and then you see them, and then
what do you do? Like,
Have
you guys seen the scene from The In-Betweeners where they're like dancing?
Oh, when they
we just do that. That's
so funny.
Ideally, that's how it would go, I guess, and then you ask them if we could buy them a drink afterwards. But then that's when you ask them and they realize that the boyfriend's standing right there, or they were never looking at you in the first place. But,
they were looking past you. They were waving at their friend that just walked into the car behind you.
That's how it goes 100% of the time for me, in a way.
Yeah.
But maybe we should go once the lockdown's over. We should all give it a crack.
Well, here's an idea I had, which would be an absolute laugh as long as other people had the same idea as us. If there was like a 20s speed dating, and you got I reckon that would be one of the funniest experiences ever if all four of us went to if it was like a speed dating catered for 20s. I reckon that would be.
There was this weird, I forgot what it was. There was like some Facebook group that hosted like a singles thing where like people all went together, and I was looking at the photos and everyone looked awkward as hell.
I reckon that'd be hilarious. You know what that'd be like if you guys have seen it? Have you guys seen If the Shoe Fits? No. Chunks and Philly on YouTube do it, and they get like 4 guests, or 2 guests, Chunks and Philly plus 2 other people. If you guys haven't seen it, you got to watch it. And they get 4 minutes each with this girl to try and impress her. And then at the end, the girl picks one of them. I reckon it'd be a grouse idea. It'd be so funny.
But like, look, I was looking at the photos and it looked like a grade 3 disco, man. Everyone's just like awkwardly standing there. Like,
what's it called? Blue light? People hotel room service playing in the background.
Amazing track.
Hard.
Everyone's had their one pop top and bag of chips.
But yeah, that's how I feel like it would go. But I guess we need to learn to just let loose and just be a bit more carefree about because we're always worried about like what people think about us, and they look like fools. But like,
Liquid confidence plays a huge part.
sometimes you just gotta go for it, mate.
Yeah, there's gonna be an in between though, because you don't want to come across as a freak with too much liquid confidence.
Yeah, well, don't be yelling at it. Just like, hey, what's up? Like, don't be like, rowdy about it. Just just a little
Ryan,
bit.
I think the world's waiting for this opinion. I'm kidding,
I don't know.
Oh, okay. I don't. What about on the other side? Like talking to. I will move up a bit further. So you met a girl, and now you're talking to them, small talk, online messaging. Obviously, it's different for every girl, but what's the sort of your approach to that? I want to hear this, Ryan.
I don't know. I don't really have I'm not very formulaic. I don't really have a set go-to or anything like that. Like we joke about the coffee line and stuff, but I don't know. It depends on what type of person they are, what they do for a career. That will typically direct my line of thinking. Like if they have a certain job listed, I might ask what motivated or wanted, because I don't know. Like it's
All right, so
I never really pre-planned it.
I want to prod your brain about. So I've seen some of your messages, and this is not a bad thing. I'm just saying that they look like they're very formal. They're like very like. Oh,
It's
hey,
so formal. I remember seeing it once, and I'm just
like a business letter.
Yeah,
like
that's just submitting cover letters,
and that's like
my thesis.
it's like a very
I don't know.
I'm trying to be like more laid back and chill because I feel like if I get too serious that they're gonna get bored of me. But Ryan's happy to just like play that card and be that guy.
I actually saw the start of one of Ryan's messages, and I swear to God, it said "to whom it may concern." And what do you mean?
It's the one girl.
Regards, right?
You've just matched with her. You know her name. It's not to whom. It's.
I don't know. I feel like I should
I'd
preface it by saying I didn't start dating till 23, and I'm pretty late to the dating game. I'm by no means an expert or anything like that. In fact, I absolutely know nothing about it. I think dating as a whole is a very poorly understood and very complex topic to talk about. But I don't know. I just like to find out what people's like. I don't know. I'm a people person. I like to find out what inspires people, what motivates them, what they like to read. I'm very inquisitive by nature. I ask questions. I genuinely like to learn about people.
Yeah.
Do you at what stage when you're talking to that girl, for example, do you like ask them to go out on a date, or like what sort of the thing that's like, yep, she's the one. I don't mind going on a date with her to meet her.
I used to wait a while before. When I first started dating, I used to wait quite a while before I'd ask to meet someone or push for that first date.
Yeah.
But it changed pretty rapidly, and now I'm very I can be talking to someone for I could have been talking to someone for a day or two before I'd ask now, if that, because I feel like sometimes a lot can get lost in translation online, and it's very hard to online dating absolutely has its perks, but I think a lot gets lost, and some people you might connect with really well in person, but you just don't mesh well online. So I actually push to meet people quite early because I'm a people person. I like to speak to people. And of course, in the COVID world, it's pretty much all online nowadays. But I like to meet people and speak with them.
Yeah, I guess that's where you're Ryan, so not his. Your formality kind of works because it's not kind of like sleazy in a way. It's very genuine when it comes across as more formal. So I think you're like, hey, I'd really love to catch up instead of, hey, what are you doing tomorrow? Are you up? You know what I mean?
You up to?
Yeah.
What are you doing tonight?
What are you doing tonight? It comes across as like, I'm genuinely interested in you. Like, let's catch up so we can talk about this more face to face. And I think that's where that formality kind of works.
Yeah, it works in his favor. Yeah.
Yeah.
He says he doesn't know, but he's ahead of the game, mate.
He's ahead of the game.
Streets ahead.
Tinder has actually given Ryan unlimited swipes without paying. That's how good he is. He's an ambassador.
There's just it's too much demand for him, mate.
Yeah.
I was the same way with Ryan. Like, originally I would wait a while. I'd talk to them, make sure I connected with them online and talk to them for maybe a week or two before I even brought up the question. Because then I'd be like, try to slip it in naturally. Like, they'd bring up a food place and I'm like, oh, we should go there sometime. And then that's when I'd ask.
Slip it in naturally.
Now I'm more like,
noted.
More like Ryan. I'd be like, it's better to just do it at the start.
I've been talking to people for as little as 30 minutes before I've asked them to grab coffee. Like, if I really feel like I click with someone, this is just something very casual.
What are you doing? Maybe I'm coming over tonight.
Yalla, habibi.
if you think you click with someone and you want to meet them and see if you click in person, because obviously those are two very different things. I think there's no point waiting. Life's too short. Like, meet people and see. I'm like,
it's and even, just meet them up straight away.
And not everyone you meet you're going to click with romantically or emotionally, or some people you're only going to click with physically, and some people you're going to click with emotionally, but maybe not so much physically. It's all different. You'll just meet people. You'll have like new experiences, and
Here's go on, Gio.
Just quickly, just because like the thing about how you may not click with some people like on a date. There's something I want to talk about, but I'll put that at the end, like when you don't get along with someone. But
and people need it. And again, this is one of the other things that's really poorly understood about dating is people need to understand that that's okay to not click with people. And like people like, they didn't kiss after a first date, or they didn't feel that mutual physical attraction, or like, that was a bad date. But most of the time, like if you actually think about it, it wasn't. You might have had a nice dinner, had some fun with this person, had a really nice time, learnt things you didn't know about this person. They might tell you about a certain thing about what they do, and you might have walked out of that having learnt a few new things that you didn't know prior to that, and having had a good night with someone. And that doesn't always have to end with like physical intimacy. Like it doesn't have to be. People use that as the benchmark for a good date. Like I think it's a really poor indicator on how.
That's a really good way to put it.
Yeah. Yes. Ryan's here for the emotional connections, all right?
He is.
Just so you know about everybody.
What I was going to ask is, based off this, texting etiquette. I want to know everyone's texting etiquette and what they think about texting etiquette.
Like, what do you mean? Like when to text them and like stuff like that, or
everything about it. So I'm talking about speed of replies,
right?
How in-depth your replies should be, when to know if someone isn't worth replying to. My biggest issue...
Bro, that's a whole hour right there. Like,
you reckon?
Yeah. Yes, man. I'm telling you.
A whole ass discussion.
All right, well then how about this? Texting speed. I've got an issue with some people's texting speed. What is the longest amount of time that can pass for you before you start to go, all right, you're taking the piss?
Like consistently.
If you're talking consistently and someone's taking, like, let's say this, for instance, Will's just messaged me on Snapchat, we'll use, for instance. So his little head is still there. You know how the head pops up on Snapchat?
Yeah.
I've had my phone in my hand, so I've looked at it, gone, hey, yeah, what's up? And his head's still there. But while I'm typing, it disappears, and then I don't hear from him for 2 hours. That to me is like, come on, man, what did you throw your phone across the Pacific Ocean? Like, what do you mean? If someone's at work and they come back to you going, hey, sorry, I was at work a couple of hours later, that's cool. But if someone is consistently replying to you, even at night, when you know they're on their phone once every maybe hour or 2 hours, that shits me up the wall.
Then you just know they're trying to...
I think to an extent, if you're agonizing over how long they're taking to reply, I think you've lost sight of what's actually important with dating. I think...
He just called you out, bro.
No, I think sometimes people, like, if people are busy or that's, like, it's not a reflection on you. It's just, I don't.
It is.
Shut up, Jeanu. Let the man talk.
Jeanu's like, popcorn.
World star.
Jeanu, leave him. He's trying to serve me, okay?
Like, I don't know. I think there's two scenarios, I think, in which someone wouldn't be responding to you. They either don't think that mutual attraction is there, but that's where I think transparency and honesty is really important. If you have someone who is characteristically taking longer than you would expect or you think is reasonable to respond to you, and again, people are sometimes really busy. Like sometimes some people aren't able to get to their phone throughout an entire day because they've just been slammed with things that are just simply more of a priority than messaging the guy they matched with or the girl they matched with on Hinge or Tinder. But I think if you think someone's genuinely avoiding you, I think it's okay to or not responding. I think it's okay to ask. I think it's okay to pursue that. Like,
what if it's not either of those, but it's genuine shit texting etiquette? Like someone goes, hey, what are you up to? And you go, hey, I'm watching Squid Games. What are you up to? And they go, oh, I'm watching another show. Like that. And you go, Matt, what's that about? What'd you get up to today? And then consistently, and you know they're doing sweet F all, and they're not texting you back, but then they insist that they're like, yeah, no, let's, I'm really enjoying these conversations and stuff.
Yeah. Look, okay.
Chime in.
I agree with Ryan, but at the same time, I don't at the same time. Because, like, yes, I know people have the they've got the lives. They've got their lives to live. It doesn't all revolve around their phones. But at the same time, it takes 2 seconds to be like, hey, I'm busy today. I'll hit you up later.
Yeah,
Like,
okay, that I understand, because that's actually something I do quite often. If I have someone I'm talking to and I am getting slammed, I will quickly send them like,
Ryan's
really busy.
You can do that. Like, that's fine. Or
I don't think that's unreasonable. I think if someone's, but I think if someone's characteristically being very like distant or slack, I think most people should actually have a better understanding of their worth and probably look for someone else who's more interested in devoting the amount of time that you think's appropriate. I think if you feel like someone's like, again, has that terrible texting etiquette, that's probably just a reflection that they're not as interested as you are. And I think knowing you is like, I think most people deserve better than that. So I think that's, yeah.
There you go, ladies. If he's picking COD over texting you back, see you later.
FIFA 22. FIFA 22.
FIFA, League of Legends, NBA, whatever it is. Even if they're playing bloody Tetris.
Yeah.
See ya
that's
later.
a big thing I preach, is for a lot of people to know their worth and not.
Yeah, like that's how I generally feel as well when I noticed that maybe if, like in the beginning we were texting like pretty often, everything was pretty fine. And I do give leeway to like, the length of time it takes for them to reply and stuff. But then if it just starts to like gradually just decrease, I kind of already realized, and like personally I don't really care either. It's just I'm just like, if you don't reply, then it doesn't really bother me anyway, because I still have shit to do. And I feel like it's just not like, it's an important aspect if I was really trying to get to know one and I really liked someone and everything like that. But actually, it takes quite a bit for me to genuinely like someone. And so, I don't know. It's just, I don't put too much thought into it. Like I don't. Sometimes it's not healthy for me to always give people like the benefit of the doubt as well.
Yeah,
like maybe they're super busy. Maybe they're doing this. Maybe they're feeling a certain way. And let's just say they haven't talked to me in like 2 days. I'll just pop in. I'll be like, hey, I'm just popping in. Hope you're okay. Blah blah blah. I'll just, I'll just be here, and then just leave it at that.
I think this entire conversation is just reflective of online dating culture as a whole, where there's just where everyone's spoiled, like guys and girls, irrespective of gender, there's an overabundance of people to talk to, and sometimes people are just so overwhelmed. It's like, and people often now think, well, I've got so many choices, and that's. I think online dating and those sort of apps have been pretty disastrous for relationships as a whole, to be honest.
Yeah,
I think it's much harder nowadays to form a meaningful relationship because of those apps where everyone's presented with. It's nearly creates an environment where people think, well, I have hundreds of choices, and people are less likely to work for a relationship or try and maintain a relationship because they're like, well, I'll just hop on the apps and there's like, I'll be on it for a couple of days and I'll have hundreds of people to choose from. Which is, I think, horrible for relationships.
Also, just in case anyone's thinking that I'm talking about a woman with bad texting etiquette, I wasn't. That actually came from my father, who sent me a text message, and I immediately called him back, and he didn't answer. Look, I'm talking within seconds, and he didn't answer, and I was like, did you actually throw the phone into orbit? And I was like, that's shitty texting etiquette.
There's ones that just chuck it straight into like a black void. Or,
like what? Where did the phone go, man? You literally just sent the message. Like, but is what it is. Love you, Greg, if you're listening.
Maybe just the ones where like you send a message, you turn off your data, and then you turn it back on later.
Sorry, I'm on prepaid. I've run out of data.
1 gig for the month, mate. You know how it is.
I'm on shared data with 7 other family members, and we share 500 megabytes.
Data pool. All right, so let's move on from that. There's I guess these ones we can do a bit more quick short answers.
Quick fires.
Splitting the bill. First date.
I generally, if it's like a first date, I don't mind paying for the first date. But like, I go into the mindset of me already paying. If she offers to split or if she offers to pay, that's already like a huge win, like massive. It just shows that she's very considerate and all of that. Like, I don't mind paying for it, but it's just really nice if she offers to pay as well. Or you can kind of, just be like, if the date went really well, you can just be like, I'll pay for this, and you can get like the next one.
And that sets up the next one.
The next one. If you genuinely like being with that person.
With William Jim.
Yeah. Well, guys, welcome back to William's tips on dating.
Yeah, I was the same with Will. Like, I go into the mindset I'm paying for everything anyway. If they offer to pay, awesome, great, but they don't need to. But normally, if they really insist it, I'll just be like, look, you can pay for dessert. And that way.
Yeah, me too.
Yep.
Like, I got this. You can get dessert or get drinks after or whatever.
I think I'm in the same boat. Growing up you get taught as a young man, especially in a European family, that you're meant to pay. Okay, you're meant to pay, and then once you get married, then their job is to feed you. You know what I mean? So it's so if a girl kind of insists, going, no, please let me go halves. I'm not going to force my, I don't know what you'd call it, my gentlemanliness on and be like, no, please,
my will.
I will pay for it. Let me just text my mum to send me some money.
I'll say like, I'm like,
if a girl genuinely is like, please let me go halves, then you know what? All right, fine. It's a modern world where you're making money, I'm making money. We're both trying to save for things. If you really want to go halves, then sure. If she's
making more than me, she's paying.
Yeah,
equality.
Why stop there? You take the whole bill. No. Let me get some food to take home.
You might have to order for my family at home as well. They haven't even dinner yet.
I don't care that it's Nobu. You said you wanted to pay.
Come on. This is how I eat all the time.
Yeah. Don't worry that I just vomited next to me. I'm going to keep eating.
Ryan, it's conservatory. I've got to make the most of it.
I don't know, man. I don't go on any dates. I wouldn't know what to tell you.
Oh,
you've been on at least 1 or 2 dates. I know you have.
Okay. I don't know. I'm kind of torn between this one because, obviously, we're all taught. It's kind of ingrained that we pay for the first date. It's the gentlemanly thing to do.
Yeah, to the fact where there's some girls that are like, where the guy doesn't pay, they're like full turned off.
Yeah, that's the opposite of
that's just like...
Yeah, which is kind of extreme, but...
I don't know, because I kind of think paying for the date also sets kind of an unhealthy dynamic or precedent, because it's kind of like I'm paying for your time, and I see your time as more valuable than my own. I think you'd find that a lot of people nowadays, guys or girls, are very on board with the splitting the bill, which is why there's a lot of pushback on it now, where a lot of girls will be like, no, let's go halvies, which I think is super reasonable.
Yes.
Yeah, I don't like the idea of feeling like I have to pay, because I think it's a bit of an outdated concept. I think. So I think both about I think if two people are meeting because they want to meet, I think both their times their time is equally valuable and equally as important.
Especially with the modern day banking, and you can literally get money in an instant.
Yeah,
I think that's another big point. But also, I think the best point out of that is Will's. To use it as, if you guys really enjoy your time, obviously, to kind of go, you grab the next one. Yeah, but I also think the argument, the little argument, mini argument of I'll pay. No, I'll pay. No.
Yeah.
I think that's just etiquette in a sense, like being nice in a sense, because it shows that you actually kind of give a shit. But
yeah, at least you care about someone else's.
Yeah.
But that's the thing. Actually, going back to just what we were talking about before, about like how I normally talk to someone a bit before going out originally, because if you do like that and you say you're going on an activity, say you're going to, I don't know, the zoo or something, then they could be like, yeah, I'll pay for my half of that ticket. But then because you've already been talking for a while, you've already established that sort of relationship where you were like, yeah, I'll pay half for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, with the food thing, I normally just pay first. But again, we need, like we've just been saying, I think it's something you can talk about, I guess.
Or take them on a picnic for the first date, and then you just got to buy all the stuff.
But you're still paying for the food, no?
If you costs just as much.
Yeah, true. All right, whatever. Fuck you guys.
All right. What else? What about like picking her up and meeting her there? Do you normally offer to pick her up?
Yeah. Petrol's expensive these days.
So you're splitting the petrol as well then, or what?
Nah, I'm not too worried about petrol, but
people are like, I'll pay half. I'll pay.
You know what? I think deep down, I'm also worried about the getting there and going, where are they? or sitting there by myself for like 4 hours if they stood me
Yeah,
up.
pick them up, they can't ditch you, mate.
Yeah, they can't. You can't dish me. I also like picking up to me is one, not having to like look around for them when you get to the place you're going to, and awkwardly kind of walk in and do that walk towards them.
And two,
two is if it's a longer drive, I feel like there's a couple of more things you can get out of them. If you go here's the here's Spotify, chuck whatever on, or let's have a chat, or have you heard this song, or I think it's kind of a cool icebreaker.
Yeah.
If they're comfortable. Obviously, if a girl's saying, I don't want you to pick me up because I'm not really comfortable being in your car, then that is also very much okay.
Yeah. But generally, if they really agree to go on a date, then they'll be sort of down for that, at least normally. Sometimes
yes and
they'll
no.
be like, they'd be like, they don't want to know where the address, so then you just pick them down the road of their house instead.
Yeah, of course.
I think it's not. I think it's one of those things where offering to pick someone up. I think it's nice to offer, but I think you have to accept that there's going to be a lot of people who aren't comfortable hopping in a stranger's car, giving some stranger their address.
So yeah,
it's fine by me as well. If I'd have to pick her up, then it's less of a drive. Which is also there's benefits to both. Like it's fine. Like it doesn't bother me either way.
I think the walking to the car after the date is more important than the picking up on the way. If you go, let me walk you to your car. Not for anything, but just to kind of be that, okay, let me make sure you get, how far have you parked?
Yeah.
I can see your car from here, that's fine. Or, you've parked about 5 minutes away. Please let me walk you to your car.
That reminds me of what you told me, bro.
Sorry?
About walking someone. You remember the story you told me when you went somewhere and you offered to walk someone?
No, not at all. What did I do?
Oh, goodness, I don't want to bring up too many details because I don't know if you want to talk about it. You're going to get
exposed.
I'll just leave it.
Go for it. No, tell it. I couldn't care less.
Remember when I think you were in Footscray and you met up with a friend? And you asked if they needed to walk back to the place. And I'm like, no. And then they walked through like a dark alleyway and disappeared.
Yeah, 100%. I met up with a friend. And we met up at Footscray because that was the area that they lived in. And I said, do you want me to pick you up? And they go, no, I'll drive there myself. And then we get there. And I was like, oh, whereabouts did you park? And she goes, oh, no, I walked here. And I was like, it's okay. Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, no worries. Anyway. And then I go, oh, let me walk you back to your apartment at least because it's dark around here. And she goes, no, that's fine. She goes, actually, I'll walk you to your car and then I'll walk from there. I go, okay, sure. Anyway, so she walks me to my car and then she goes, I've got to go in that direction. And from there, there's 2 ways to get there. One was like, it looked like something out of a movie where it was like perfectly lit. Everything was bright.
Street lights.
And then the other one, again, looked like something out of a movie and it was pitch black darkness. And she goes, all right, thanks for tonight. I'll see you later. And just walk straight down the dark alleyway. And I was like, what?
And she put on the AirPods as well. She's like, all right, see ya.
Oh, yeah, she put both of her AirPods in.
Oh, my God.
And then she put on and she just went in.
I was like, bro, she's going to be on the news. Like, what? Like, how could, like, it was so, like, trippy to me. And it's like, is this meant to be some kind of, like, look at me, I'm a powerful person? Or, like, it was just, honest to God. And I didn't mean anything by let me walk you to your apartment except for it's Footscray. Like stereotypes exist for a reason, you know what I mean? Like it's Footscray. I'll go to uni.
I mean, it doesn't matter. Like any time of the night, like it's night,
anywhere.
Yeah.
And yeah, it was just when she walked down the dark, I called Gia straight away. The second I got in the car, I called Gia and I go, "You're never going to believe what happens." But that was an insane thing. But yeah, that's the whole. Let me walk you to your car. I think is a point of etiquette that everyone should do to ensure a woman's safe passage, especially
or a man's safe passage,
safe passage.
Right. But yeah,
ensure this, especially during this current climate of what's happening. And yeah,
good. All right. So let's talk about the actual date itself. All right, 2 things. Like, how do you know it's going well, and what's some funny stuff that you've had during dates that happened that's funny? Or I know Ryan, you spoke about something before we started about that girl that asked you about the feminism.
I've had some interesting ones, I suppose. I've never had any crazy.
Not like crazy, but just odd, I guess. Just like just odd things to bring up on a first date, I guess. I wouldn't say it's like
I don't really
go on
think
a first date and want to talk about like I don't know what to say here.
I don't think that anything's off limits. I think that like I don't know. I like to talk to people. I think it's fun to discuss things and talk about things.
Yeah.
And I've definitely had some interesting conversations on first dates. Not ones that I thought I would have been having on a first date, but yeah. I don't know. I don't really. I don't really go in with like a game plan, man. I just go in and talk to people, and conversation just tends to flow fairly naturally. Like,
Do you sort of tell when you can get along with someone from the get go, or is it sort of develop through the date? You reckon?
I think you need to learn a bit about someone before you can tell if you're going to really get along with them. I think we all try very hard to put our very best foot forward on a first date, and sometimes people can be a little. I don't think fake's the right word. I think people can. I think people would benefit from just being a little bit more natural and acting how they actually would act on a first date. And I'm guilty of this. We're all guilty of this. We kind of, a lot of people tend to put on this persona of like, this is how I'm supposed to act on a first date. Whereas, like, if I'm going to meet someone, it's because I want to meet them.
Yeah.
I don't want to meet like who they think they're supposed to be. Like, do you get what I mean? I've probably butchered that explanation, but I think
you don't want to meet them 3 months later.
Yeah, you'd be like, wait a minute, who's this person? Who's this?
Yeah.
You don't want it to be a surprise afterwards when you start acting normal, like how you normally are, and like, who's this person?
Yeah, 100%. Like, be yourself. It's just be yourself.
Yeah, I mean, it's easier both on the day and for the future as well. Like, if they don't like you as you are, then that's obviously it's easier to cut through that at the start rather than having them find out later. Like,
The reality is you're not going to get along with everyone, and you're going to have bad dates. You're going to have good dates. You're going to have dates where, you don't like what someone's saying and they don't like what you're saying, and you walk out of that and you're like, I probably never want to see this person in my life again. And again, that's just a part of life.
But I've had like actual dates where like it just felt like I was just paying for the day. Like they weren't there to like interact with me at all.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm like, at least try. Like, I know there'd be people that like try to put on persona and like act a certain way, but this person wasn't even trying at all, you know?
Yeah.
And like, that's when I'm just like, why am I here?
We've both come all the way here, at least show some personality. Those people that don't want to make conversation, it's like, what's the point?
It's not even that. There was no personality to show. There's just nothing at all. It was like, if you're going to be boring, let's at least be boring. Like, there was nothing for me to interpret or like get from you at all, which is kind of annoying. But whether or not they were going through some things or not, I don't know. Perhaps they were, but at least be, I guess, transparent about that. Be like, oh, sorry, I wasn't feeling that well today. I wasn't able to talk to you. Like, be social. Like, maybe I can make it up to you next time or something like that. Like, anything like that goes a long way, Instead of me thinking I just spent however much money on this day, and then like it's not about the money, but at the same time, like, you go there to meet someone, so that's what you're trying to expect.
If you've agreed on a date, if you've agreed to go on a date, then at least go and have some fun. Like, there's to me, there's always this thing that like, and I learned this talking to Will, talking to Ryan, G, a lot of yous, and everyone at work. There's things that you love. And the more you wear your heart on your sleeve in terms of the things you love, people bounce off that a lot better. So if you go in there going, my favorite show is Real Housewives of Melbourne, but, no one likes that show, so I'm not going to talk about it or anything like that. Or like, my love for this, I should hide it because people will think I'm weird. Like us. I've had moments where I've gone, I'm not going to mention anime because some people might take that in the weird way.
I always ask.
I asked.
Like you asked me.
I asked, but it's different. I
go on the first day and be like, hey, I'm into anime. First thing you say to someone, hey, I'm into anime. With my tag.
Hey, are you cool if I bring my anime pillow, my wife's pillow? Like,
there's like that. And then there's, just like, but if it's brought up, then if someone asks you what your interests are, like, tell them what your interests are.
But then I flipped the script and then I kind of went and got the tattoo and I was like, literally, wear your heart on your sleeve. And it's like, you love this for a reason. Like, even if they don't, that doesn't matter. And I've had people that go, you know what, I don't like anime, but the fact that you like it is pretty cool, and you're kind of open about it. It's like, yeah, sure.
Just open-minded enough.
I think if there's any two things people could take away from this, it's just if you're going on a date, be yourself. Like, that's the worst sort of suffering I could imagine is someone having to pretend to be someone else.
Yeah,
like to make another person happy or to. Like I just couldn't think of anything more emotionally draining than having to not be yourself on a date, or just in general in life.
It's
in
making it
general.
harder for yourself.
I think that's a horrible thing for people to have to feel and feel like they have to do or to experience.
But yeah, in saying that, I can't even be bothered going on dates these days. Like, I just have no battery for it. I don't know why that is, but I just can't do it recently. But
Yeah.
it's just so weird. But anyways, moving on to the next thing. What about if the date doesn't go well? How do you let them know that you know, like you don't?
I think to give people in general credit, but typically, I think
People
if a
know.
date hasn't went well, I think both people know a date hasn't went well. I don't think
Yeah.
I think it's pretty rare to have a situation where someone's going, "That was incredible. That was the best date of my life,"
Yeah.
and someone else is like, "That was the worst experience." Like people, like to give people some credit. I think
maybe
I
not
think,
that to that extreme, but it could still happen. People could be like, "Yeah, I think she's into me," and then the guy's like, "I'm not into this guy."
Yeah, I was just being nice.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's still possible. I mean, not to the extreme that you're saying, but I think it's still possible.
Yeah.
So then I think you should maybe still make it clear afterwards.
Yeah,
but a lot of people do that. There's a lot of ghosting that happens in these
That's
days.
it. Apart from
There's
being
a lot of
yourself, the
ghosts.
second thing, or not the second thing, it's just as equally as important, is you should always be honest. And if you didn't click with someone, I think telling them straight away is the
What about telling them before the date? Do you remember when? So telling someone before the date, oh, if it doesn't go well, I'm just gonna let you know straight up.
Oh, I remember this.
Yeah, that's
What do you think? Is that preloading it, or is that like preempting you a bit, or is it okay?
I feel like that adds unnecessary pressure. That's like, hey, listen, you better be on your A game, otherwise this ain't working.
I don't know.
I mean, honestly, it didn't bother me that much. Like, if you guys, it seemed like it not affected. It seemed to bother you more.
What was actually said, Gio?
What was actually? I can't remember. It's exactly what it was. It
Oh,
was
along
just
the
like,
lines of like,
so we organize a date, and then they're just like, oh, just letting you know that I'm just going to be upfront about if like I guess we vibed that day, and if we're gonna like, I don't know, if I don't feel like there's a connection or anything like that, I'll just let you know straight away.
yeah, I think in trying to be honest, kind of does set a bad tone for the rest of the date. But
I guess it's
think
just unnecessary to say it before the date.
yeah, it's I think it's I like.
I mean,
that
because
it's
I didn't
honest,
take it like negatively.
but-
Or
Yeah.
I can see how someone else could see it and be like, well, like be overwhelmed by it. Like, why would you even say that? I understand.
I think it's good to be honest, but yeah, I think it doesn't set a good
So
tone.
just leave it till after the date, you reckon?
Yeah, I remember talking about it with you and like not really being phased by it, but it was kind of like unnecessary to say anyway.
I think,
Yeah.
I'm glad that she's honest, but it was a little unnecessary. Like you can say that afterwards, be like, "Hey, we didn't vibe," or
Yeah, it's like if you were to
just
say
saying
like,
preemptively. It's just too much.
going into a date, if you were to say like, "Oh yeah, if we don't really get along well, I'll probably never message you again," it's like something you just wouldn't say, but it's like it's known. If you don't click with someone, you're not going to keep talking to
How
them.
would you say
Everyone
it?
thinks about it. You know, if it's not a good day, if you don't click, then you
Yeah.
can just be transparent about it. But then voicing
it's-
it out, just before the date,
Yeah.
is
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
pretty
Okay. So,
unnecessary.
okay. So we established that you say it afterwards if it doesn't go well. If so, how do you go about saying this thing? Okay, and we're back. All right, it's gonna be weird cut here because someone's laptop. I'm not gonna say whose laptop died.
It was Tristan.
So now
It
we
was
might be in
Tristan.
different
It was
spots.
my desktop that died.
Just give the last couple minutes. All right, as I was saying, I'm gonna read this thing that I sent in one of the group chats about saying this instead of ghosting, and I want you guys to say whether or not you would say this to a person. Okay, I've loved getting to know you, but I don't feel a connection. Thank you for your time. It's a meme, but like, just like, would you ever?
It's legit.
Yeah.
I would probably never send that to someone. You can say that with a lot more tact.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a bit
there's more
generic.
to it than that. There's more. Yeah, I know.
That's generic.
Obviously, this is a meme, as in like say this instead of ghosting. Like, would you
Yeah.
rather be ghosted or hear one of these things?
Absolutely. Rather that.
Yeah.
I think that's some context, and that's like greatly appreciated by anyone. I think just ghosting someone with no explanation is a horrible thing to do. I think it's pretty common, but I think it's a really bad thing to do. I think if you didn't click with
like they got
someone,
numb to it now. You ghost is like, yeah, what's whatever now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which
Think
isn't
that
good.
saying
But
this stuff is worse somehow, but really, I don't think it is.
No,
Yeah.
I'd rather someone tell me than ghost.
yeah.
Like either way, I wouldn't really agonize over it.
This kind of goes back to that same thought of like, it doesn't like it's okay to have a bad date, and it's okay to tell someone
Yeah.
that you didn't click and you maybe didn't see them in that way, that sort of thing, that's okay. But I don't think, it is what it is. If you don't feel comfortable with someone, ghosting them is probably the right call.
Yeah.
But I think most people deserve just like a
Some
sentence.
context, some sort of closure at
Like,
least. Yeah.
Yeah. I think
the
that's just
people-
genuinely just being a good person, I think.
We need more of those in the world, man. A lot of more good people in the world. Anyways, but yeah, these are pretty they're not very, I guess, eloquently put, but they're pretty tact in the way that they said. But it's kind of funny, so we'll go through it. Second one, I have a lot going on in my life, and I'm not able to prioritize our friendship/relationship.
Nah,
I
spin
feel
the
like
shit.
that one, if you're already part of a friendship or relationship, you'd be saying it much more eloquently than that.
100%.
Yeah.
I've got a lot going on. No, you don't.
See ya, mate. I'm out.
And it's also before getting, I'd assume, going into the date with someone, if you're already dealing with a lot, you shouldn't really put yourself out there and get other people roped
I
into
thought
it
I
as
could
well.
do this, but I can't. I don't know if that's a valid thing.
I don't know.
That's a whole other thing. I think that's people being halfway into a relationship and being like, you know what? I realize I can't do this, and then just backing out. I feel like you should know this before committing to anything. But yeah, anyways, the third one. This isn't working for me anymore. I hope you can understand. And that's it.
Nah, there's going to be an explanation.
No.
That's too.
I know this. I know that obviously these are memes, and you shouldn't be saying it like this, people. But at the same time, I know there's going to be someone out there that's actually doing this stuff. And please, for the love of God, please don't say it like this.
I don't
feel like
think
that's
you're-
almost like ghosting as well. You can't just be like, all right, bye. You know,
I don't prefer the ghost at this
yeah,
stage.
I hope you understand, but then you kind of have to
I hope you
explain why it's
understand,
not working out.
but I'm not giving you any context to understand.
Yeah.
So here.
Yeah. I don't think you owe anyone a thesis and some people you don't owe an explanation at all. But I think if you can just give someone some indication,
be nice about it.
Doesn't have to be a lot, but just, hey, I just don't think we actually clicked very well and I wasn't super comfortable, blah, 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 blah. Or something
That's
like
it.
that. That's all you need to give someone just to be courteous, just to be respectful, and just to be a good person.
Yeah, in saying that, what do you guys think about the "it's not you, it's me" thing? Is it overplayed, or does it have some merit?
If it's true, it's absolutely got merit. Some
people
people aren't ready to.
true, but the fact that it's overused as a cliche, a lot of people don't take it for what it is now, for what it actually means.
Yeah.
That's my kind of understanding, because it does a lot of the time. It isn't that person. Sometimes you are going through stuff as well, but because it's been used so much and people are desensitized to it, it's just you're just saying it as an excuse to not talk to me, which I don't think is always true, but it can be.
As long as there's I feel like you shouldn't have to explain yourself to someone in a full, like Ryan said, a thesis. But if you go, listen, you were great. If you don't have to say it's not you, it's me. You were great, but I just wasn't feeling it, or I just didn't feel.
It's just like the different ways of saying with great power comes great responsibility. The Spider-Man.
100%.
I think it's also used because sometimes people don't want to be honest or don't want to upset someone by telling them the truth that it actually is them, and they just don't think they click, which is a shame. But again, that's to do with the fact that maybe someone doesn't feel quite comfortable saying that they don't click with a particular person. Right. I think there's probably more to it. I think it's probably a more nuanced issue, to be honest. But I think most people deserve more than a one sentence explanation.
Yeah.
Well,
Or just
on the
send
other
that.
hand, it's just very subject specific. It depends on the two people, who they are, how they've met.
It's going to be tailored, though. No matter which way you spin it, it needs to be tailored. It cannot be generic.
I mean, the least you can do is to give them that 5-10 minutes to think of a message that will basically just answer their questions and let them know that whatever's happening, it's happening because of this. Anyways, the last two, and these two are definitely ones that none of us would ever use, but they're pretty funny. I feel that my boundaries aren't respected in this relationship, and I don't want to continue seeing you.
I don't know.
Oh, you like that one?
Yeah,
That's surprising.
I think any of these are absolutely fine explanations.
I think
if
they're fine,
true.
but not on their own.
Yeah, they have to be followed by something.
I think that one doesn't. I think if
Really?
you're a person who think,
That's
I think if you truly believe that your personal boundaries aren't being respected, I think that's a completely valid explanation.
But if
I feel
there's, what if you didn't know what was being overstepped?
Yeah, I feel like if you didn't say what it is, that person would be like,
you don't
"What
establish the boundaries, and then
Yeah, but just typically someone will ask, "Well, can you elaborate further?" And I'm sure most people will. But I think if you feel like your boundaries have been sort of ignored or stepped over. I think that's a very valid.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I like that one. And the last one, I don't want any further contact with you because blank. I don't know, because you're an idiot. Please respect my decision.
Because you check yourself out in every window, right?
Because you always talk about running.
But again, I don't have a problem with that because there's I don't want to see you again because. So there's an explanation.
Because you actually have a reason. You can put a reason in there.
Yeah, I think.
Yeah.
Just general rule of thumb, just be a good person. Like,
above all, just send one of those memes of the dude going like this and then disappearing.
Yeah.
Just do that.
Yeah, that's worst comes to worst. You know what?
Nosy.
Everyone knows what that means.
Oh my god! I'll post.
Right.
I'll post it in the comments. I'll post the comments.
It's just how, in case you don't know it.
Yeah, but I'll be interested to know what people think about just all dating in general and just ghosting and whether or not people should be doing it or not. Some people think it's easier, but I think it's easier. But I think it's
easier for the person doing it.
yeah.
It's hard either way, though.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Jinx.
Under a roof. Kiss me. I mean, I'm sorry. I don't remember the rest of it. Go on.
I didn't know there was more to it.
Yeah, I didn't know there was more to it either, to be honest.
If anyone knows the rest of it, let us know in the comments. That's that audience participation that we're just trying to get better at. But anyways, this episode was really fun, guys. It was great.
Yeah, I really enjoyed
Pretty
that.
funny.
That was us. Thanks for listening. This was everything in between.
There you go.
Oh, that sounded good too.
That did sound good. Look out for us on Instagram. You'll be getting a follow very soon.
Code word is Sukilala.
Oh, is what? Say it again.
Sukilala.
Sukilala. There you go.
Yeah.
Code word Sukilala. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, because that's what you are, mate.
No, you.
So yeah.